The spaceship was quiet. The long metal corridors were silent. Only the soft hum of the engines could be heard. Most people were sleeping inside their cabins. The lights were dim. The clock showed midnight. The ship moved slowly between stars like a lonely traveler, carrying humans far away from Earth, carrying their dreams and fears into the dark of space. In one small cabin, a human child turned on the bed. The blanket was warm, the pillow soft, but the child could not sleep. The silence of the ship felt too heavy. The child's eyes were half closed, then something happened. Something strange. From far away through the walls, through the floor, a sound came. It was not the usual sound of the ship. It was not the hum of the engine. It was a cry, a soft cry, high and trembling, like a baby but different. The sound carried a strange echo. It was like a baby but not a human baby. It was something else. The child sat up. Heart beating faster, the cry came again, long and sad. It touched something deep inside the child. Curiosity grew. Fear grew, but also a strange feeling of responsibility. Who was crying on the ship at this late hour? Who was alone, who needed help? The child slipped out of bed. Bare feet touched the cold floor. The cabin door opened with a quiet hiss. The corridor was empty. The air was still. The child looked left and right. The sound was faint, but it was clear. The cry was coming from the lower deck, the restricted area, the place children were told never to go alone. Still, the child walked. Slowly, step by step, the cry guided the way, sometimes soft, sometimes louder, sometimes like it was right behind the wall, sometimes like it was far down the hall. The child's hands trembled, but the feet kept moving. Curiosity was stronger than fear. The ship seemed different at night. The walls looked taller, the shadows longer, the lights colder. Every door looked like it could hide a secret. The child thought about turning back, about returning to bed, but the cry came again, and it was so sad, so helpless, the child could not turn away. Down a metal stair, across another corridor, past closed storage rooms. The sound grew stronger, clearer, sharper. Now it was not only a cry, it was a wail, like someone was lost, like someone was cold. The child's chest felt heavy. Something inside whispered, "Keep going." At last, the child reached a corner where a small door stood half open. Light flickered inside, blue and soft. Not like the white light of the ship. Different, almost alive. The cry came from inside. The child stopped, breathing fast. The skin of arms covered in goosebumps. This was the place. This was where the strange cry was born. The child pushed the door wider. The room was small, hidden, not on the usual maps. Inside the room was a glowing pod, metal mixed with glass, smooth and round. The glow came from inside the pod, and in the center lay a small figure, wrapped in a thin sheet, shaking, crying. Eyes closed, it was a baby, but not a human baby. Its skin was pale silver. Like moonlight, its tiny arms shivered. Its head had small ridges, and its eyes, when they opened for a second, shone with a dim blue light. Not human, not known, it was an alien baby. The child froze, mouth open. Fear struck like ice, but the cry was real. The shiver was real. The baby was alive. The baby was cold. The baby was suffering. It was not a monster. It was not dangerous at this moment. It was just a helpless little being. Alone in the dark. Why was it here? Who had put it here? Why was nobody watching it? Why did the adults not say anything? All these questions rushed through the child's head, but no answer came, only the sound of crying, only the sight of small hands shaking. The child stepped closer. Heart pounding, every step felt heavy. But something stronger than fear was guiding. The baby turned its glowing eyes for a second. The child felt something in that look. Not words, not language, but a feeling, a call for help. The cry grew weaker. The baby seemed tired, its breath short, its body shaking harder. The child realized the truth. The alien baby was not dangerous. The alien baby was cold. It needed warmth. It needed comfort. It needed care. The child looked at the pod, then at the thin sheet that did nothing to protect the small body. The ship's air was cold. Too cold for something so fragile. The child thought about running to call the adults, but a fear came. What if the adults did not care? What if they took the baby away? What if they hurt it? The child bit the lip, thoughts racing, but the sound of the cry, the sight of the glowing eyes, they made the choice clear. The child took a deep breath, ready to act, ready to do something no one else had done. At that moment, in the small hidden room of a giant ship, between stars and silence, the destiny of two lives began to change. The child stepped closer to the pod, hands trembling, heart racing, eyes wide with both fear and hope. The strange cry in the night had called, and the child had answered. The child stood frozen near the glowing pod, breath sharp and shallow, eyes wide, staring at the small alien baby. The soft cry was still in the air, but weaker now, like the baby was losing strength. The ship around them was silent. Only the baby's sound broke the heavy night. The child had never seen anything like this before. Never in school lessons, never in stories from the adults. The colony ship was supposed to carry only humans. No other species, no other life. So why was there an alien baby hidden in this secret room? Why was it alone? The child took one small step forward. The glowing light of the pod touched the child's face, soft and strange. It felt warmer than the cold air of the ship. The baby moved, its tiny arms shaking, its thin sheet slipping down. The silver skin looked fragile, almost see-through. The child whispered softly, "Don't cry," though the baby could not understand human words. The voice of kindness seemed to make the cry pause for a second. The glowing eyes opened, dim and watery. Staring at the child was something that felt almost human, almost pleading. Why was this baby here? Why was it left alone? Where were the adults? Where were the guards? Why did no one care? The child remembered the rules. Children were told not to enter the lower decks, not to wander in hidden rooms, not to touch unknown things, but here was a baby, alone, crying, forgotten. Those rules felt wrong now, felt cold, felt useless against the sight of such helplessness. The child thought back to the times when adults on the ship whispered about cargo from other worlds. Their voices always sharp, filled with fear, saying words like danger, contamination, and unwanted passenger. Maybe this baby was that cargo. Maybe this was the secret no one wanted to speak about. The child's small hand reached out, trembling. Fingers touched the edge of the glowing pod. The surface was smooth, cold at first, then warm. The baby moved again, a soft sound came. Not just crying, but almost like a hum, like a broken song. The child felt something heavy in the chest, a feeling of pity, of compassion. A human instinct older than rules and older than fear. The child whispered again, "You are not alone." Though the voice shook with fear and wonder, the baby's cry softened. Still weak, still sad, but no longer sharp. As if it could sense that someone was near. Someone was staying. The child looked around the room. It was empty except for the pod. The walls were plain metal. No sign of care, no sign of comfort. Just a cold cage for a living soul. This was not a nursery. This was not a place for life. This was a prison. The child's heart beat faster. Anger mixed with fear. Why had the adults ignored this baby? Why had they chosen silence? Maybe they thought the baby was dangerous. Maybe they thought it was worthless, but standing here, the child could see only a tiny being, shaking, lonely, and forgotten. The air felt colder. The ship groaned with distant sounds of engines. The child shivered but did not leave. Eyes stayed on the baby. The glow reflected in the child's eyes. Suddenly the baby made a small movement, reaching one hand up, thin fingers opening, as if asking for something, as if searching for comfort. The child's breath caught. The hand was too small, too fragile, too desperate. Slowly, carefully, the child stretched out a hand, fingers hovering close, not touching, just near. The baby's glow seemed to brighten for a second. The cry faded, replaced by a soft hum, almost like a sigh of relief. At that moment, the child realized something deep and powerful. This baby was not a threat, not a monster, not a danger. It was simply forgotten, left behind, left to suffer in silence. And only one person on the ship had chosen to listen. A child. The child's mind raced with questions. Should the baby be taken out of the pod? Should the adults be told, would they help or would they hurt? Fear whispered, run away. Leave it. But compassion whispered louder, stay. Protect it. The child sat down slowly on the floor. Knees pulled close, eyes never leaving the glowing pod. I will not leave you, the child whispered. Voice trembling but firm. Minutes passed, maybe hours. The ship moved on through the stars, silent and uncaring. While inside this hidden room, two small lives, one human, one alien, looked at each other. Bound not by language, not by rules, but by need. The forgotten baby closed its glowing eyes, the cry almost gone, breathing slow. The thin sheet still slipping. The air still too cold. But for the first time since the child had entered the room, the baby looked peaceful. The child knew this was only the beginning. Knew that soon the adults would find out. Knew that danger would come. But in that quiet moment, nothing else mattered. In the darkness of the ship, in a hidden corner no one cared about, a child had found a baby. A baby the world had forgotten and had chosen not to forget. The story of two lives had just begun, and neither would ever be the same. The child sat in the hidden room, staring at the alien baby inside the glowing pod. The silver skin was trembling. The thin sheet did nothing against the cold air. The small body curled tighter, shivers running through its tiny arms. The baby gave out another weak sound, not a cry this time, but a low whimper, soft and sad. The child's heart ached, a deep pull inside, the kind every human feels when seeing something helpless, the kind that refuses to stay silent. The child's small hands clenched, eyes filled with worry. The thought was clear now. The baby needed warmth, and no one was going to give it. No adult, no leader, no machine, only the child. The human child looked down at their own blanket, wrapped around the shoulders, thick and warm, the only comfort in the cold of space. The blanket was more than cloth. It was home safety, love, everything familiar. Giving it away was not easy. But looking at the alien baby, shivering inside the pod, the choice became simple. The child stood slowly, feet pressing the cold metal floor, hands trembling as they held the blanket. The glowing eyes of the baby opened slightly, as if sensing what was about to happen. The cry faded into silence, replaced by a quiet gaze, a fragile trust. Step by step, the child moved closer to the pod. The warmth of the blanket pressed against the chest, heart beating faster, fear mixed with courage. This was not just breaking rules. This was stepping into the unknown. This was giving away something precious. The pod's glass cover slid halfway open, perhaps responding to the baby's weak movements, perhaps reacting to the presence of the child. A soft hiss filled the room. Cold air rushed out. The baby gave a faint shiver. The child hesitated. For a moment, fear returned. What if touching the alien harmed them both? What if this was a trap? But then the baby's tiny hand reached out again. Fingers trembling, glowing faintly blue. Not dangerous, not threatening, just asking, just begging. The child leaned closer, hands shaking, and gently, carefully, placed the warm blanket over the baby, tucking it around the small body, making sure the thin arms were covered, making sure the silver skin was safe from the chill. The effect was almost instant. The baby's whimper stopped. The trembling slowed. Its tiny chest rose and fell more evenly. The glowing eyes opened for a second, staring directly at the child. And in that gaze was something powerful, something unspoken, gratitude, trust, connection. The child sat back, heart racing, breath quick, staring in awe. Never had a simple action felt so big, so heavy. The act of giving away a blanket felt like giving away a part of the self, a part of the soul. The ship around them hummed as always. But inside this small room, something invisible had changed, something larger than rules, larger than fear. For a moment, the child thought they felt something inside the mind. A flicker, like a dream, a picture flashing across the thoughts, a warm sun, a broken city, a world far away, voices crying, silence after war. It was so fast, gone in a blink, but it left the child breathless. Was it the baby sending images, sharing memories, or was it just imagination? The child could not tell, but one truth stood tall. The blanket was no longer just cloth. It was now a bridge between two lives. The baby sighed softly, curling into the warmth. The glow around its body dimmed slightly, calmer now, almost peaceful. The pod's light adjusted, softer, warmer. As if reacting to the gift, the room no longer felt like a prison. It felt like a nursery, fragile but alive. The child whispered, "You're safe now," though unsure if the baby understood. Still, the words felt right. They carried weight, carried promise. Minutes passed. The baby did not cry again, only breathed softly, tiny fingers clutching the blanket with surprising strength. The child stayed seated, staring, afraid to move, afraid the peace would vanish if they left. The child thought of the adults, of their rules, of their fear. They would never do this. They would never give comfort to something alien. They would see a threat. They would see danger. But the child saw only a baby, only life, only innocence. The hum of the ship grew louder for a moment. As if engines shifted, lights flickered. The child looked around nervously. Was the ship watching? Was the AI recording? Was someone already aware? But nothing happened. The door stayed closed. The room stayed quiet. And the child's small act remained secret. For now, still, deep inside, the child felt the weight of what had been done. A line had been crossed. A silent rule had been broken. The future had shifted, even if no one else knew. The blanket lay across two small worlds now, human and alien. Its fabric carried more than warmth. It carried hope. The child leaned closer once more, whispering softly, "Sleep, little one, sleep." And for the first time since the strange cry had echoed through the night, the baby did sleep, wrapped not only in cloth but in kindness. In that hidden corner of the great ship, With stars outside and silence within, the human child had given a gift, a simple gift that could change everything. The gift of the blanket. The alien baby slept at last, wrapped inside the human child's blanket, its silver skin no longer trembling, its tiny chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. The glow from the pod had softened, turning warm and golden instead of sharp and cold. The hidden room felt different now, calmer, alive. The child sat on the floor beside the pod, tired eyes still wide open, not daring to look away. Every minute felt like a watch, a duty, a promise. The hum of the spaceship continued, steady and endless. But in the quiet of this small corner, the child's world had changed forever. For a long while, nothing moved, only the sound of soft breathing. But then something strange began to happen. The child blinked and felt a flicker inside the head like a spark of light. Faint but real. At first the child thought it was only imagination, perhaps sleep playing tricks. But then the flicker came again, stronger this time. An image flashed inside the mind, too sharp to be a dream, too fast to be real. The child saw a world of blue skies and high towers, shining cities filled with strange lights. Then in a blink the picture changed. The towers crumbled, fire spread, smoke rose into the sky, cries filled the air. Then silence. The child gasped. Clutching the chest, the images were gone, leaving only a heavy feeling, sorrow and loneliness, deep and endless. The child turned to the baby, still asleep, still holding the blanket, but now the truth felt clear. The images had not come from the child's own mind. They had come from the baby, from its dreams, from its memories. Another flicker came, this time softer, gentler. A picture of a tall figure, silver-skinned like the baby, holding it in strong arms, singing a soundless lullaby. The warmth of love, the safety of home, then darkness. Tears filled the child's eyes. The truth grew heavier. The alien baby was not just alone on this ship. It was the last of something, the last of a family, the last of a people, its world gone, its kind destroyed. The connection was clear now. The blanket was not only cloth, it had become a bridge, a thread linking two minds, two hearts. The human child could feel the alien's sorrow. The alien could sense the child's kindness. The child whispered, "I see you." Though the baby was still asleep, yet the connection pulsed back. A soft warmth inside the chest, a feeling like an answer, like the baby had heard and believed. The child leaned back against the wall, trembling, overwhelmed. This was more than breaking rules. This was touching another soul, sharing its pain, its story, its fear. The child felt small and scared, but also important, chosen in a way no one else was. For a moment the child wondered, what if the adults knew? What if they felt this connection? Would they still see danger? Or would they see what the child now saw? Not a monster, but a survivor, not a threat, but a child like any other. The hum of the ship grew louder again. The AI's soft voice whispered through the walls. Diagnostics complete, system stable. Then silence. The child froze. Had the AI noticed the pod? Had it noticed the strange bond? Or was it only routine words? The baby stirred, tiny fingers tightening on the blanket, eyes glowing faint blue for a second before closing again. Another flicker touched the child's mind. Not sorrow this time, but fear. Shadows closing in, loud voices shouting, doors slamming shut. The child's own heart pounded faster, as if sharing the same terror. The child placed a hand gently on the glass of the pod, whispering, "It's okay, you're safe." And the flicker softened. The fear faded, replaced by a calm wave like a sigh carried through the connection. Minutes turned to hours. The child remained, half asleep, half awake, thoughts spinning. The secret was too big, too heavy. This was no longer only about kindness. This was about survival, about trust, about two lives tied together by something no one else could understand. The child wondered if the connection would last, if the images would come again, if words could ever be shared, or if only feelings would flow. Already the child felt changed. Older somehow, burdened but stronger. The spaceship carried thousands of humans across the stars. Yet in one hidden room, a child and an alien baby had become more than strangers, more than separate beings. They had become linked. The child whispered again, this time a promise. "I won't let them take you." And though no words came back, the warmth in the chest answered. Steady and certain, the human child leaned closer, head resting against the pod, eyelids heavy, the alien baby sleeping. Within, both breathing in rhythm, one dream shared between two different worlds. And in the silence of the ship, unseen by any adult, unnoticed by the busy systems, the connection grew deeper, stronger, a bond of sorrow, hope, and trust. The secret connection. The hidden room had become a secret world, a place where the human child and the alien baby shared quiet nights. The blanket always wrapped around the small body, the glow of the pod softer now, warmer, the cries less often, replaced by soft hums. Days passed in silence. The child returned again and again, each night sitting close, whispering stories, holding the pod's glass, feeling the strange connection flicker inside the mind. Pictures, emotions, memories flowing back and forth like dreams. The baby grew calmer, stronger, no longer shivering all the time. Its glowing eyes looked brighter, its small hand stronger, always clutching the blanket, as if it understood what it meant, as if it knew the gift was more than cloth. But secrets do not stay hidden forever. Not on a ship filled with rules, not under the watch of the adults. One night, as the child sat by the pod, whispering softly, the door slid open with a sharp hiss. Light from the corridor spilled in, and a shadow fell across the floor. The child froze, heart pounding, eyes wide. It was a guard, tall, armored, his face stern. The guard's voice cut through the silence. "What are you doing here?" The child stammered, words caught in the throat. The guard stepped forward, eyes narrowing, then stopped when he saw the pod. The baby inside, the blanket wrapped around it. His eyes widened, shock flashing across his face. Then fear, then anger. You touched it?" His voice trembled louder now. "This is forbidden. This is dangerous." The baby stirred, sensing the fear. Its glow flickered, a soft hum rose. The child pressed a hand to the pod, whispering, "It's okay," trying to calm both the baby and the fear in their own heart. But the guard had already turned, pressing his wrist communicator. "Captain, I've found the alien." And the child. The words echoed in the small room like thunder. Soon footsteps filled the corridor. Voices sharp, orders shouted. More adults arrived. The captain with cold eyes, scientists with tablets, guards with weapons, all staring at the pod, at the baby, at the child still kneeling close. The captain's face twisted with anger. "You broke into this room, you touched it, you gave it a blanket?" The last word spat out like poison, disbelief and disgust mixing together. The child's small voice trembled but did not break. It was crying, it was cold, it needed help, the adults muttered, some shaking their heads, some whispering fears. "It's dangerous. It could infect us. It could destroy us." But then something strange happened as the voices rose. The ship shuddered. Alarms flashed for a second, warning lights blinking red. But just as fast, everything stopped. Systems stabilized, screens cleared. The hum returned steady and strong. The scientists looked confused. The captain frowned. "What just happened?" The AI's calm voice filled the air. "Correction complete, system stabilized. Unknown source of balance detected." All eyes turned to the pod. To the baby now quiet, its glow soft and steady. The blanket still wrapped close. The child spoke again, louder this time. "It's not dangerous. It saved us." The adults stared, silence heavy. The captain's eyes narrowed, doubt fighting with fear. The scientist typed quickly, reading results. Energy spikes match. System fluctuations corrected. "It looks like the creature stabilized the ship." Murmurs spread. "Impossible. Accident, it's still a risk." But deep down, some of them were no longer sure. Doubt had entered their fear. The baby opened its glowing eyes, looking at the crowd, then at the child. The connection pulsed again, a warmth spreading through the child's chest. A feeling like a voice without sound. "Do not be afraid," the child gasped, whispering without thinking. "It's speaking. It's asking us not to fear." The captain snapped. "Nonsense." But his voice shook now, not as strong as before. The guards stood unsure, weapons lowered, scientists stared at their screens. The AI repeated, "System stable, unknown source. Energy consistent with pod occupant." The child held the pod tighter, eyes filled with courage. "You wanted to throw it away, but it saved the ship. It saved all of us." The baby blinked slowly, glowing eyes soft, tiny fingers gripping the blanket with strength. The adults were silent again, divided. Fear battling with reason, suspicion fighting with the evidence in front of them. The captain finally turned, voice sharp but weak. "Take the child away, isolate the alien. We will decide what to do." The guards stepped forward. But even as they moved, the baby's glow brightened. Not dangerous, not violent, but steady. Like a shield, like a promise, the ship hummed stronger, systems more stable than ever before. The child cried out, "Don't take it. It's not a threat, it's hope." The guards hesitated, unsure. The captain's jaw tightened. The scientist whispered. The AI spoke again. Observation. The connection between human child and pod occupant appears vital. Recommended to maintain proximity. Gasps filled the room. The child's heart pounded. The secret was no longer secret. The truth no longer hidden. The adults had discovered the baby. But they had also discovered something else. Something that could not be undone. The bond. The bond that might decide the future of them all. The hidden room was no longer hidden. Guards stood by the door. Scientists whispered over their screens. The captain paced with cold eyes, and the child sat on the floor near the pod, the alien baby wrapped tightly in the human blanket, glowing softly, breathing calm, but the air was heavy, filled with fear, filled with debate, voices clashing like knives. Some adults spoke of danger, some spoke of proof. All spoke louder than each other. The captain raised a hand, his voice sharp. Enough. We cannot risk the lives of thousands for the sake of one creature. The word creature cut the child like a blade. Eyes filled with tears, fists clenched. The child shouted back, "It is not just a creature. It's a baby, like I was once a baby, like you were once a baby." The room fell into silence, shocked by the child's courage. But fear was stubborn. Fear is always louder than reason. A scientist spoke quickly. The child is right in one sense. The readings are clear. The pod occupant stabilized the systems. Its energy waves corrected imbalances we could not fix. Without it, we may have suffered damage, perhaps even destruction. Another scientist interrupted. But what if it was only by accident? What if it can harm us just as easily? What if its power grows and we cannot control it? Murmurs filled the air. The captain's face stayed hard. We will not wait to find out. Tomorrow we release it into space. The danger will be gone. The child gasped, voice breaking. You can't. That's murder. The guards shifted uneasily. None looked at the baby. None wanted to meet its glowing eyes, yet the glow filled the room anyway. Gentle, steady, not threatening, only alive. The AI's calm voice spoke. Observation. Pod occupant shows no hostile patterns. Probability of intentional harm, less than 5%. Probability of further stabilizing systems over 70%. The captain growled. Enough, machines do not decide, humans do. But the child stood, small but unshaken, voice trembling but clear. Then decide like humans, not like cowards. Humans help the weak. Humans protect the innocent. If we throw this baby away, we are not humans anymore. The word struck the room like lightning. Some adults turned their heads. Ashamed, some bit their lips, conflicted. The guard nearest the child lowered his weapon a little, as if remembering something deep inside. The baby stirred, eyes opening. Glowing faintly, the connection pulsed again. Stronger than before, the child gasped, feeling warmth flood the chest. Images filled the mind, a storm of fire in space. Ships torn apart, voices crying out, silence swallowing all, then the image of this ship. Drifting weak, lights fading, then suddenly stabilized. The alien baby's glow wrapping it in safety. The child stumbled but spoke. It showed me. It showed me its memory. It saved us, not by accident, but by choice. It chose to live, and it chose to protect us. Gasps spread, whispers rose. Telepathy? Shared vision? Impossible. The captain slammed his fist. Lies from a frightened child. This is manipulation. This is danger. But the scientists hesitated now. Data in their hands, doubt in their voices. The readings match. The child's words may be true. The test was clear now. Not of machines, not of systems, but of hearts. Fear on one side, compassion on the other. The guards looked at one another. None willing to be the first to touch the pod. None willing to drag the child away. Their hands shook, their eyes uncertain. The child dropped to their knees beside the baby, hands pressing the pod, tears streaming, voice rising. If you throw it away, you throw away everything that makes us human. You throw away hope. The baby blinked slowly, glowing eyes soft. The blanket clutched close, a soft hum rose. The ship itself seemed to echo it. The walls trembling gently. The lights flickering but steadying, stronger than before. The AI's voice returned, firm this time. Correction. Human child statement aligns with current evidence. Pod occupant provides measurable benefit. Recommended action, preserve bond. The room exploded with voices, some shouting, "It's right." Others shouting, "It's madness." The captain's face twisted with fury. We cannot take this risk. Fear is stronger than your foolish kindness. The child's voice broke into a scream. Fear does not save ships, kindness does. The baby's glow brightened, soft waves of light spreading through the room. Not blinding, not burning, only steady like a shield, like a calm breath wrapping around them all. And for one silent moment, even the fearful felt it, the warmth, the safety, the truth. The test was still unfinished, the choice not yet made. But everyone in the room knew it now. Humanity was being tested, not in machines or weapons, but in the heart of a child holding a blanket. The question lingered heavy in the air. Louder than all the arguments, would they choose fear? Or would they choose humanity? The room was silent after the light faded. The glow from the alien baby still soft, still steady. Wrapping the space in calm, guards lowered their weapons. Scientists stared at their screens. The captain clenched his fists but did not speak. Fear was still there, but something stronger was spreading. The child knelt beside the pod, hand pressed against the glass, tears drying on the cheeks. Eyes burning with determination, the voice came again, soft but steady. Don't be afraid. And though the words did not leave the baby's mouth, everyone in the room felt them. Like a whisper in the heart, the captain shook his head, anger twisting his face. This is trickery. We must end this now before it grows stronger, before it controls us all. But one scientist, usually quiet, raised her voice. Captain, the child is right. Look at the readings. The baby's energy stabilized the engines twice. It shielded us during the last surge. Without it, we might already be dead. Another added, voice trembling. And it is not trying to harm us. Every spike of energy matches with moments of fear, moments when it was crying. This is not an enemy. This is a child. The guards looked uneasy, shifting on their feet, their eyes moving from the captain to the pod, to the human child still clutching the edge. Refusing to let go, the captain raised his hand to order. But before he spoke, the ship trembled, alarms blared. The AI's voice cut in sharp. Warning, cosmic storm detected. Energy levels rising. Shield failure in 3 minutes. Gasps filled the room, panic spread. We don't have time. Shields won't hold. We'll be torn apart. The captain barked orders, redirect all power, seal all sections, prepare for impact. The AI interrupted, calm but firm. Correction, current shields insufficient. Probability of survival less than 10%. Fear turned into chaos. Voices shouted, people ran. The storm outside already visible through small windows. Flashes of deadly light striking across space. The child pressed closer to the pod. Heart pounding, the connection flickered again. Stronger now, images filling the mind. The storm. The ship breaking, people screaming. But also another image. The baby rising. Glowing brighter, wrapping the ship in safety. The child turned, shouting. Voice breaking but clear. It can save us. Let it try. The captain roared, no. We cannot trust. But the baby opened its eyes, glowing like twin stars. The blanket slipping slightly as its tiny arms stretched out. The glow spread wider, brighter, filling the room, spilling into the walls, the floors. The very heart of the ship, the AI's voice echoed. Unidentified energy detected. Stabilizing. Shields reinforced. Probability of survival now 85% and rising. The storm struck. Light slammed against the ship. Metal shook, alarms screamed, but the glow held, wrapping the vessel in a shield stronger than any machine could make. People fell silent, staring in awe, watching the impossible. The alien baby's hum filling the air. The storm flashing outside but not breaking through. The ship riding waves of chaos with calm. The child whispered softly, "You're saving us." Again the connection pulsed. A wave of warmth, not words, but a feeling. Because you saved me first. Tears filled the child's eyes. The storm raged, but the fear was gone. Replaced by wonder, by hope, by belief. When at last the storm passed, silence returned, the ship unharmed. Systems steady, lights bright, the people inside still alive. All because of the baby. The glow dimmed. The baby closed its eyes, exhausted but peaceful. Still wrapped in the human blanket. Still alive, no one spoke for a long time. Then the captain, once so firm, now stood trembling, his voice broken. We owe our lives to it. The scientists nodded. Guards lowered their eyes, shame heavy. The child only held the pod tighter, whispering softly, "I told you." The AI confirmed. Observation, pod occupant critical to survival. Recommendation, protection and care advised. The decision was no longer in doubt, no longer in debate. The truth had been proven not by words, not by arguments, but by the storm. The captain turned to the child, voice softer than ever before. "You saved us all. Because you chose kindness when the rest of us chose fear. The child shook their head, eyes on the baby, voice quiet. It wasn't me, it was us. Together. Silence filled the room again, but it was a different silence now. Not fear, not anger, but respect, awe, even love. The forgotten baby was no longer forgotten. It was no longer just cargo. No longer just danger. It was part of them now, part of their future. The child smiled, tired but proud, watching the baby sleep, the blanket still tucked around it, a symbol of something greater than cloth, a symbol of a bridge between worlds. And as the ship continued its long journey between the stars, every soul aboard knew the truth. Sometimes the smallest hands carry the greatest future. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness decides the fate of many. And in the quiet of space, one human child and one alien baby had changed the story of two worlds forever.